Exhortation, Real Talk, Tough Love, constructive criticism. Actually, it could be destructive criticism. There's so many different names that can describe when someone is describing you or giving you some information about you that feels like an insult. It feels like an attack of some kind, some form of a challenge. It feels like a challenge. They're challenging you. No sugarcoating, no pacifying, no babying. It's just unadulterated insight that you could care less for at the time of hearing it. I'm gonna pick on myself because I'm an individual that would like to think that, I don't need correction, or I'm a hard-headed individual. I have been in my life. I've been a know-it-all. I still try to sometimes want to think I am, and I know I'm not. Stubborn. I can pick on myself because I know the characteristics of somebody that does not like to hear about himself. We know no one likes to get real talk when it applies to them. The reference scripture that I'm going off of today, Proverbs 12 and 15, says that the way of a fool is right within his own eyes, but he who heeds counsel is wise. So it's easy to think that we know what we're doing and we got it all figured out. It's easy to feel like that in terms of just ourselves. But when others that have, us in their best interest give us some insight about ourselves, we don't like it. We don't like correction. It sounds judgmental. It sounds harsh. And it really should feel harsh, and it really should sound judgmental, but it shouldn't be taken as that. Oh, they hating on me. They hating on me. It's a fine line between correction or exhortation, constructive criticism, tough love, and hate. Let me give you an example. Bro, you should not marry that girl. You still love someone else. Why are you getting ready to tie the knot with this beautiful young lady and you still love someone else? You haven't resolved that past endeavor. It's still lingering, and it's potentially gonna create conflict in your marriage because it's not resolved and you haven't dealt with it. And even though it hasn't caused harm yet in your marriage, you should be man enough to either end it, resolve that issue, or you should just not get married until you resolve that issue. That's constructive criticism. That's telling someone that you have, their best interest. You have them in your best interest. You don't want them to screw something up, like a marriage. Hate is completely different. You just don't need to marry her, bro. You just don't need to marry her. I just don't like her. it has no value. There's nothing backing it. It's nothing good. It's just, all it does is expresses emotion. And we talked about what emotions were. Energies that drive you to move in one way or another. But it doesn't produce anything else. Nothing of actual credibility. It's just a form of an expression. And it's expressed through an emotion. I just don't like it. That emotion could be jealousy. That emotion could be envy. But it's empty. When we receive criticism, when someone is exhorting us, when we receive it, it's important that humility and humbleness is on both sides of the spectrum. The person that is giving it, even though it's going to be clear cut and concise, need to come at it with a humble approach. Pull a person to the side. Don't do that mess in a crowd or for a show. Pull a person to the side and address the issue that you see with that person. You know? And when you receive it, the exhortation, you need to listen to it with humility as well. You need to understand that you don't need to try to defend yourself. You need to take in everything that person is saying, because when you try to defend yourself and when you try to respond at that time, and trust me, now I've been in this boat plenty of times, and I know when somebody's saying something, I know the emotions that you're gonna feel. You're gonna feel like you need to defend yourself, and you gotta justify your actions or justify your behavior or whatever. It's best that you process it, man, and just take it and ask the person that talked to you to give you time to respond. After you had time to actually take in what that person said. It's not easy. This is a process that I am still undergoing myself. These videos are not just for you all, they are for me as well. But I'm not going to tell anybody anything wrong. And I'm not going to tell anybody, I care about the information I put out. And I know that this is helping me. So I'm pretty sure at least one other person is helping as well. Humility is something that has to be on the side of both spectrums. The person that's giving this counsel, giving this criticism, and the person that's receiving it. Now, destructive criticism. That type of criticism, that type of real talk that you can't even see how they're going to build you back up. They are telling you about yourself, and it's nothing about it that you can find within that advice or that counsel or that lecture that's beneficial. You have to have boundaries. You need to have boundaries for yourself. Some things can't be talked about. Some things can't be worked out through talking at a certain given time. When emotions flaring up and you know that this is inaccurate criticism, you're not at fault at all, the best thing to do is to just walk away and remove yourself. Because you're going to act out on emotions. All emotions do is they cause us to act. We act out whatever we feel, and even if we're talking, we still say whatever we feel. And oftentimes, more times than not, after you let your emotions get the better of you, what do you say? I don't know what happened. I don't know what came over me. I don't know what I was thinking. I just blanked. Your emotions are not who you are. Your spirit is who you are. Your emotions steer you to do things that you, when you're not in that mind state, wouldn't normally do. So when emotions flare up, because they will come, we're human, they have to come. These energies are in the universe. Walk away and come back to it at a later time. Have boundaries. That's still being humble, and they're still having humility, and they're still not sending evil back towards the other person. So it's still stopped. It stopped dead in its tracks. Criticism is it's needed. We have to have it. People are watching us whether we know it or not. And we have people in our life that love us enough to tell us things that we need to hear. And we need to take it with a grain of salt. Because we know, even if it's something that we don't want to hear, we know if it's valuable information. We can tell the difference. We can walk away all we want. We can walk away from a talk or a lecture all day long, but it will stick with us. Especially when God put it on someone's heart to tell us what we're being told. Oh, everybody has opinions. Everybody has opinions. That's true. But not everyone is willing to challenge a friend and tell him or her, look, you need to change this about you. Because I have you in my best interest, and I'm not interested in anything that's going to bring out the worst in you. I love you guys. Comments, feedback, that's more than welcome. Please forget the background noise. I'm in the coffee shop today. I wanted to do something different. See you guys next Saturday.